Well, in the worst case situation, how much time is he facing if he blows trial?
Vlad, this is
Life?
This is a life imprisonment case. Okay. There's no in between.
We just caught news that Lil Durk might have just gotten attacked in his cell with traumatic evidence backing it up. And you won't believe who was behind the hit. We already know federal prison walls don't care about platinum plaques or Billboard charts. And right now, Lil Durk's learning that the hard way. The voice of the streets got silenced when the feds came knocking at his Florida mansion, dragging one of drill's biggest stars from sold-out arenas to a concrete cell at MDC Los Angeles. This ain't just another rapper catching a case. Nah, this is Durk facing conspiracy and murder-for-hire charges that could bury him for life. The same dude who went from selling drugs on Chicago's South Side to collaborating with Drake. The same cat who built Only the Family into a drill empire now sits behind bars plotting legal strategies instead of hit records. October 2024 changed everything for Durk, and the streets been whispering about how the king of melodic drill might have orchestrated his own downfall. Chapter 1, From Lamron to the Top. Chicago's Inglewood neighborhood don't produce too many success stories, but Durk Banks wasn't trying to be a statistic. Born October 19th, 1992 in one of the city's most dangerous areas, young Durk grew up where gunshots served as alarm clocks and police sirens played like a twisted soundtrack. His pops, Dante Banks Sr., caught a life sentence when Durk was just 7 months old, leaving his mama to raise him and his siblings in the trenches. The 6400 block of South Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, Lamron to those who know. That's where Durk learned the rules of survival. See, Lamron wasn't just a neighborhood, it was a war zone. The Black disciples ran those blocks, and young Durk found himself caught up in that life early. By the time he hit his teens, he was already deep in the streets, watching homies fall one by one. But here's where it gets different. While other cats was just trapping and banging, Durk had something else brewing. He started spitting bars, using music as therapy for the trauma surrounding him. Like he said in that 2018 Breakfast Club interview, "Music saved my life for real. Without rap, I'm dead or in jail." You already know the streets knew Durk before the world did. He wasn't just another drill rapper talking tough. Nah, this was somebody who lived every bar he spit. When Chief Keef blew up and put Chicago drill on the map, Durk was right there grinding, dropping "I'm a hitter" and making noise in the underground. But unlike Keef, who embraced the wild image, Durk had something different. Melody. Boy could sing his pain, harmonize his hurt, and that combination of street credibility with actual vocal talent, that's what set him apart from everybody else. Fast forward to 2011 and Durk dropped Sneak Dissin', a track that changed everything. The song went viral on MySpace. Yeah, MySpace was still a thing back then, and suddenly labels started paying attention. But success came with a price. December 2011, weapons charges had him locked up, facing real time. Most cats would have folded, but nah, Durk used that bid to focus on his craft. He came home hungrier than ever, dropped the Life Ain't No Joke mixtape, and the rest started falling into place. Def Jam came calling in 2012, throwing a deal at the young drill star. But check this, Durk wasn't satisfied with just a label situation. He had bigger plans. He launched Only the Family OTF, bringing his day ones along for the ride. This wasn't just a rap crew, this was brotherhood, loyalty, family. Names like King Von, who'd later become drill royalty himself, OTF Boona, OTF Doo-Wop. These weren't just artists. These were Durk's guys from the trenches. The Sign to the Streets series put Durk on the map for real. Critics started recognizing what the streets already knew. This wasn't just another violent drill rapper. Durk brought emotional depth, vulnerability, pain that hit different. He could make you feel the weight of losing homies, the paranoia of success, the conflict between street life and stardom. Tracks like This Ain't What You Want showed his range, mixing aggressive drill energy with lyrics that came from the soul. By 2014, Durk had survived what killed most drill rappers' careers, the initial hype dying down. While others faded or got locked up, he kept grinding, dropping heat and building his brand. His debut album, Remember My Name, might not have sold crazy, but it solidified his spot in the game. French Montana, Wiz Khalifa, Meek Mill. Suddenly, Durk was working with established stars, bringing that Chicago realness to mainstream hip-hop. But see, success in rap don't erase street politics. Even as Durk's star rose, the beef back home got worse. The war between OTF and their rivals, especially FBG and later Quando Rondo's crew, kept getting bigger. Social media turned every diss into viral content, every death into hashtags and Instagram posts. Durk tried to balance it all, being a successful artist while staying loyal to his roots, making money while watching his back, raising his kids while burying his friends. The losses kept coming and Durk documented them all. Cousin OTF Nunu shot dead in 2014. His manager OTF Chino killed in 2015. Each death pushed Durk further into his music, but also deeper into the street politics he was trying to escape. He dropped songs about wanting out, then turned around and released drill anthems keeping the beef alive. This back and forth, this push and pull between success and the streets, that's what made Durk's music so powerful, but also set the stage for what was coming. Chapter 2, The Price of Loyalty. Thing is, when you make it out the hood, you're supposed to leave certain things behind. But Durk, he couldn't let go. Even as the millions rolled in, as the features with Drake and J. Cole made him bigger, he kept one foot planted in the streets. OTF wasn't just a record label, it was family. And in Chicago, family means you ride no matter what. The beef with Quando Rondo's crew wasn't some rap shit that started in a booth. Nah, but this was something different. This went deeper, bloodier, more personal than any diss track could capture. November 6, 2020, that date changed everything. King Von, Durk's little brother, his protege, caught bullets outside an Atlanta hookah lounge after a fight with Quando Rondo's people. The whole thing played out on social media in real time. Von bleeding out on camera, Quando's boy Timothy Leaks identified as the shooter, and the streets demanding get back. What's crazy is how Durk responded publicly versus what prosecutors say he did behind closed doors. On Instagram, he posted tributes to Von, calling him twin and promising to keep his legacy alive through music. But according to the federal indictment, behind the scenes, Durk was making different kinds of promises. The feds claim he put out word that he'd pay for Quando Rondo's location, that OTF resources would be available for whoever wanted to handle business. You already know Durk wasn't gonna let that slide. See, Von wasn't just another rapper to Durk. This was his guy from the O, someone he brought up, put in position, and watched become a star. Von had that special something, the charisma, the storytelling, the real street tales that connected with fans. His death hit different. At the funeral, you could see Durk's pain all over his face. He posted about Von constantly, dedicated songs to his memory, and made promises that, looking back now, should have been red flags to everybody watching. Here's where it gets wild. The feds say they got text messages where OTF members talked about the hit. According to court documents, somebody in the crew texted about needing to get that bag for handling Quando. Another message supposedly talked about flights being booked and hotels being set up. These ain't street rumors or hip-hop gossip. This is evidence federal prosecutors ready to use in court. August 19th, 2022, almost 2 years after Von died, shooters pulled up on Quando Rondo at a gas station in Los Angeles. The cameras caught it all. Masked gunmen jumping out of white cars, shooting up Quando's crew, then bouncing in different vehicles. Quando made it out alive, but his cousin Xavier Robinson, known as Lil Pob, caught the bullets meant for him. What looked like just another shooting in hip-hop was actually, according to prosecutors, the result of a whole planned-out hit. The details in the indictment are crazy specific. Prosecutors say Durk's co-defendant, Kayvon London Grant, flew from Chicago to San Diego the day before the shooting. They got hotel records showing OTF associates checked into a spot near where it went down. They claim to have proof of rental cars being got with fake IDs. This wasn't no heat of the moment street shit. If the feds are right, this was set up like a whole operation. Meanwhile, Durk's music career kept going up. 7/2/20 hit #1 on the Billboard 200. The single All My Life with J. Cole went double platinum. With Durk rapping, I went from selling drugs to selling out arenas. The irony wasn't lost on nobody paying attention. Here's Durk talking about making it while supposedly plotting murder in the background, accepting awards and going to red carpets while federal agents built their case against him. DJ Academics broke it down on his stream after the arrest, saying, Durk had everything to lose and nothing to gain from this. He was at the peak, making millions legally, and threw it all away for street shit. Whether you mess with Act or not, he had a point. Durk had escaped what kills most street dudes, only to supposedly jump back in when he had the most to lose. His relationship with India Royale looked good on the surface. She posted supportive messages, went to his shows, played her position perfectly, but people close to them say she was begging him to leave the street shit alone to focus on family and legit business. Their daughter Willow was growing up in a world where daddy's fame came with federal agents watching and possible life sentences hanging over their heads. Real talk, the signs were there for everybody to see. Associates getting locked up, word about federal investigations going around, the walls closing in. In May 2022, 5 OTF members got hit with federal charges for a different murder. The feds were clearly circling, building cases, flipping people, but Durk kept moving like he was untouchable. Maybe success made him feel like he couldn't be touched, or maybe he just couldn't break the cycle. Either way, by 2024, the feds have seen enough, heard enough, got enough evidence to make their move. Chapter 3, When the Feds Come Knocking. October 24th, 2024. Started like any regular day for Durk until it didn't. Federal agents surrounded his Florida mansion, arrest warrant ready, about to bring down one of hip-hop's biggest stars. They got him at his crib, no drama, no chase, just cold federal business. Durk, who'd beat state cases and dodged charges before, found himself facing the one thing you can't run from, the federal government. The indictment read like a movie script. Count 1, conspiracy to use interstate commerce facilities in the commission of murder for hire. Count 2, use of interstate commerce facilities in the commission of murder for hire resulting in death. These weren't charges you beat with a good lawyer and some people saying you're a good guy. We talking about the same charges they use on mob bosses and cartel leaders. Here's where it gets even crazier. The same day Durk got grabbed, 5 OTF associates also got picked up in California. Kayvon London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay, and Asa Houston. The feds had coordinated raids, everybody getting arrested at the same time. They've been building this case for 2 years, watching every move, writing down every transaction. TMZ broke the news first and social media went crazy. Fans couldn't believe it. Durk, who just dropped heat with Morgan Wallen, who had millions in the bank, who'd made it out the hood, was now looking at life behind bars. The mugshot hit different than his Instagram posts. No chains, no designer, just federal booking photos and a future full of court dates. At his first court appearance, prosecutors laid out their case. They claimed Durk used code words in conversations, talking about taking care of business and handling the situation. They said bank records showed suspicious money moving around the time of the shooting. They had people ready to testify that Durk specifically ordered the hit on Quando Rondo. Durk's lawyer, Drew Finling, the same dude who represented Trump in Georgia, came out swinging. He called the charges overreaching and claimed the government was trying to make Durk's music and lifestyle look criminal. But the feds wasn't playing. At the bail hearing, prosecutor Lloyd Phelps stated, Mr. Banks used his wealth and influence to orchestrate a murder. He's a danger to the community and a flight risk. MDC Los Angeles became Durk's new home. For those who don't know, MDC ain't no joke. It's federal holding where they keep big-name defendants waiting for trial. No special treatment, no privileges. Durk went from private jets to prison buses, from VIP sections to solitary when they felt like it. The adjustment had to be crazy. The bail situation turned into its own mess. Durk's team offered a $3 million bond, ankle monitor, giving up his passport, basically everything except chaining him to his house. But prosecutors shut it down quick. They brought up his money, his connections, the private jets he could access. They even mentioned old jail violations from before, saying Durk couldn't follow rules even when locked up. What really hurt Durk's case was all the digital evidence. See, in 2024, everything you do leaves a trail. The feds supposedly had encrypted messages that Durk thought were safe. They had data from phones, location info from cars, bank records. One person close to the case said they got everything except video of him saying, "Go kill Quando." The rap community watched in shock as more details came out. Lil Baby, who'd been tight with Durk, stayed quiet. Drake, who'd given Durk some of his biggest features, said nothing. The same industry that celebrated his success now stayed away from his downfall. Only a few, like Boozy, spoke out, with Boozy tweeting, "If they offering you a plea, take that shit and come home to your kids." What's wild is how Quando Rondo reacted. Dude went on DJ Academics' stream talking about how he never wanted beef with Durk, how Von's death was self-defense, how the whole situation got out of control. Now he might be the prosecution's star witness, his survival the only reason this is attempted murder instead of straight murder. Inside MDC, Durk had time to think about every choice that led him there. No more studio time, no more Instagram Live, no more million-dollar shows, just concrete walls and a federal case that could end with him dying in prison. His kids' birthdays would pass without him. Award shows would happen without him. OTF would have to keep going without its founder and leader. Chapter 4, The Empire Crumbles. With Durk locked down facing life, everything he built started falling apart quick. OTF, once a symbol of loyalty and success, became known for federal investigations and murder plots. Artists on the label found themselves stuck, support their leader and risk getting caught up in the charges, or distance themselves and break the code OTF was built on. Metro Boomin, who'd produced hits for Durk, tweeted then deleted, "Pray for Durk, but this why I stay out the way." That tweet said what the whole industry was thinking. Feel bad for him, but don't get too close. Nobody wanted federal attention by association. Features got canceled, collaborations got shelved, and Durk's name became poison in boardrooms. The money situation hit hard and fast. Legal fees for federal cases run millions, and that's before you even get to trial. Word is Durk's legal team wanted a $2 million retainer just to start. Add in investigators, expert witnesses, possible appeals. We talking 5 or 10 million easy. Every car, every chain, every property Durk owned became either evidence or payment for lawyers. His kids, 7 of them with different mothers, faced their own problems. Durk always rapped about giving them better lives, posting pictures of big birthdays and private school. Now child support payments coming due while the money stopped flowing. The mothers had to figure out how to keep up lifestyles paid for by a man looking at life in federal prison. India Royale finally broke her silence on Instagram, posting, "Focusing on my daughter and my business. Please respect our privacy during this time." Reading between the lines, the relationship seemed over. People close to her said she'd been begging Durk to leave the streets alone for years, especially after Vaughn died. Now she was stuck raising their daughter while her baby father faced life. Back in Chicago, the streets reacted how you'd expect. FBG Duck's mother, who'd lost her son in the drill wars, went on live saying, "See what that street life gets you? Now who gonna raise them kids?" Durk's enemies celebrated, posting disrespectful memes and songs. His allies went quiet, knowing federal attention was the last thing anybody needed. Young OTF artists found themselves lost. Without Durk's guidance and connections, their careers stopped. OTF Boona, who'd been building buzz, suddenly couldn't get features or shows. The label that once meant automatic success now meant automatic problems. Some artists quietly started looking for new deals, trying to get away from the federal heat. Complex published an article titled "The Rise and Fall of Lil Durk's Empire," breaking down how OTF went from Chicago's most successful rap crew to a cautionary tale. They interviewed industry people who said labels were now scared to sign drill artists worried about similar situations. The article said Durk's case might be the end of drill's mainstream run. What's crazy is even locked up, Durk's influence stayed strong. His streams actually went up after the arrest, fans supporting their locked up hero. All My Life climbed back up the charts, the lyrics hitting different now. Old mixtapes started getting plays again, making money that went straight to legal fees instead of Durk's pockets. The discovery phase of the case showed even more wild details. Prosecutors claimed they had somebody who testified that Durk personally handed out cash for the hit. They said they had text messages where OTF members talked about getting tokens of appreciation after the shooting. Each new filing painted a picture of an organized criminal operation, not just street beef gone wrong. Cooperating witnesses became the prosecution's strongest cards. Word started getting out about who might flip. The feds supposedly offered deals to multiple OTF associates. Testify against Durk, cut your sentence from life to maybe 10, 15 years. The same loyalty Durk preached became his biggest problem. Like one street source put it, loyalty don't mean shit when you looking at football numbers. Defense strategies came out slowly. Durk's lawyers filed motions saying certain evidence shouldn't be allowed, claiming illegal searches and forced statements. They argued Durk's lyrics and image were just entertainment, not real admissions, but prosecutors had more than just music. They claimed to have direct proof of Durk planning and paying for the attempted hit. Chapter 5, Judgment Day. As 2025 came in, Durk's reality set in for real. 9 months in federal custody changes anybody. The designer clothes replaced by federal khakis, the jewelry locked up as evidence, the phone that once connected him to millions now limited to monitored calls. MDC Los Angeles became his whole world, a concrete box where every day looked the same, where dreams of beating the case got smaller with each court filing. His legal team kept fighting, filing motions, challenging evidence, trying anything to shake the prosecution's case. But check this, federal conviction rates tell you everything. When the feds come for you, they win 95% of the time. Durk's lawyers knew these numbers, knew what they were fighting. The question wasn't really if he'd beat the case, but how much time he'd do. Plea talks started on the low. Word is prosecutors first offered 25 years if Durk admitted guilt and testified against others, but taking a plea meant admitting he set up a murder plot, destroying everything he built, confirming every bad thing people said about drill culture. Fighting meant risking life in prison if they found him guilty. Neither option looked good. Durk supposedly told his lawyer, "I can't tell on my guys, that ain't me." The music industry moved on like it always does. New artists came up, new beef started, new headlines pushed Durk's story down. Features Durk recorded before getting locked dropped, reminding fans what they lost. But the excitement was gone. Hearing Durk rap about beating the odds hit different when he sat in federal custody looking at life. Young artists who looked up to Durk learned hard lessons. G Herbo, fighting his own federal case, supposedly told young Chicago rappers, "Get your money and get out. Don't end up like us." The path from the streets to fame was full of traps, and Durk's fall showed that making it didn't mean you were safe. OTF, once a blueprint for crew success, became a warning about keeping street ties while building legit empires. In Chicago, the violence kept going. The beefs Durk had been part of didn't stop for his absence. Bodies still dropped, disses still flew, mothers still cried over dead sons. A young rapper from Durk's block got killed in January 2025, and locals said it was connected to the ongoing beefs. Durk's situation didn't create peace. It just took one major player off the board. Letters from fans filled up MDC, some supportive, others asking how he could throw it all away. One fan wrote, "You gave us hope that we could make it out. Now what we supposed to believe?" Durk had time to read all of them, to see how his choices affected people who found hope in his music. Kids from projects who saw him as proof they could make it now wondered if the streets would get them too eventually. As October 2025 gets closer, the hip-hop world watches and waits. Charlemagne talked about it on The Breakfast Club, saying, "This is bigger than Durk. This is about a culture that celebrates being real, but punishes it when it goes too far." Joe Budden on his podcast argued, Durk had generational wealth and threw it away for what? Street credibility? That's crazy. The prosecution stands ready, confident their case is solid. They got their witnesses lined up, evidence organized, arguments ready. To them, Durk represents everything wrong with hip-hop celebrating violence. USA Attorney Martin Estrada said in a press conference, "No amount of fame or fortune puts you above the law." But this ain't just about law and order. This is about a culture, a cycle, a system that creates Lil Durks, then destroys them. From Lamron to federal prison, his journey shows bigger truths about opportunity, choices, and what happens next. The same streets that made him a star led to his downfall. The same loyalty that built OTF might bury it. Real talk, whether Durk beats this case or not, the damage already done. Years of his life gone, relationships messed up, empire broken. Even if he walks free tomorrow, he already paid prices money can't fix. The federal system doesn't just lock up bodies, it breaks down everything you built, everyone you love, everything you stand for. So as Judgment Day comes up, as lawyers get ready for final arguments and witnesses practice what they gonna say, the question ain't really about guilty or not guilty. It's about cycles, how they start, why they keep going, if they can ever really stop. Durk's story from Chicago's hood to federal custody shows how hard it is to escape what made you, even when success gives you every chance to leave it behind. The voice might be quiet now, but the echo's still there. In every young rapper choosing between street loyalty and going legit, in every label executive weighing being real against being safe, in every fan streaming music from their locked up hero. October 14th, 2025, gonna bring verdicts, but the real judgment already happened. The streets always collect what they owed, one way or another. This is Durk's reality now. No more studios, no more stages, no more Instagram posts showing off, just concrete, steel, and time to think about every choice that brought him here. The federal system don't care about platinum plaques or street respect. It only cares about evidence, convictions, and sending messages. Whether Durk does 5 years or 50, his story shows hip-hop's darkest truths. Success don't fix trauma. Money don't buy you a clean slate. Fame don't protect you from what's coming. The same realness that makes artists special can destroy them. The same loyalty that builds empires can tear them down. As this chapter ends, waiting for whatever comes next, one thing's for sure. The streets always remember, and the feds never forget. Durk learned both lessons too late, paying prices that success was supposed to prevent. From Lamron to the feds, from struggling to winning to sitting in a cell, his journey shows everything great and terrible about drill culture's rise and fall. The story ain't over, but this part's written. Whatever happens October 14th, 2025, Lil Durk's legacy is set. Talent shadowed by choices, success messed up by loyalty to a code that cost him everything. The voice of Chicago silenced, not by enemies or being broke, but by choices made when getting back seemed worth more than freedom. That's the real tragedy. Not that he got caught, but that he supposedly chose the streets over everything he worked for to escape them. If y'all enjoyed this video, like it up and make sure to click another box on your screen to watch another video.